Howdy, I want to talk about Maliki, Poison of the Past. This is a game that's inspired by turn-based RPGs, which I know is a hot topic right now with other games that have recently been released. And this one, I think, is also worth your time. We've gotten a lot of big RPGs in the last couple weeks, and I feel like this one's gonna get swept under the rug a bit because it's a lot smaller of a game, but it's really charming. I've been having a good time playing it. It's not too overly complicated. It has a lot of the tropes, you know, a lot of the tropes are there. You have the turn-based battles where you have multiple characters. There's enemies that are weak against certain types, and each character's got certain magic abilities and that sort of thing. But there's a little bit something different in there too. Like when you're battling in this game, you have the ability to kind of reverse or change time in battle to allow you to like heal yourself or get yourself more of your power back that you needed to do skills. And that's the theme of this game, is time. Time's like the story of this game. If you like time travel RPGs, then this would be right up your alley. The enemies that I've fought in this game, for the most part, are played into that theme of plants, nature. All the enemies have some sort of leaf or tree branch sticking out of them, no matter what type they are. With a few exceptions. There's been a couple exceptions where it's not a plant-based enemy, and that's always interesting as a gameplay experience for this. But that's the theme of it, and as you're going back in time, you kind of find out, oh, this poison's also kind of doing stuff too. It's also traveling through time maybe a little bit to try to stop you, but also make sure that it gets the outcome it wants so it can take over everything. So a lot of, you know, time manipulation on both sides for the story. There's one character in there who's the one that kind of guides you through the timeline. You get to learn more about the backstory of who this character is, to find out how important they are to the story and what's happened. The characters are all fun. They're all fun. You have one character who's a tech person who's super knowledgeable, you know, like a walk-in encyclopedia. You have another character that's more of like a fairy magic sort of type. You have one that's like a farmer. There's all these kind of characters that are there. Again, you've seen them in these kind of games before, right? It's not gonna be anything groundbreaking or new. But the animation style is all in a cartoonish animated sort of form. So if you like chibi looking kind of characters, then this is gonna appeal to you. If you don't like that look, then you're not gonna like this game. The characters too do speak a dialogue in terms of like the visual novel aspect. You know, when they have conversations, there's text dialogue, and the characters are moving. I'm trying to think if I played a game within any recent amount of time where the character during the dialogue is like physically moving so much. The characters are super like over exaggerated in terms of their movements. It's a lot, but there is no voice over for the characters. And it's kind of compensating for that in a way, to where it's like you're not getting voice dialogue, but with the talking, you know, the characters moving a lot. And it's not like their mouths are matching the text, really. It's just that it's just kind of giving those characters life in terms of not having any voiceover. And so it's cool, but when I first started, I was like, oh, this is a little much. There's a little much going on there. And what's also cool, besides these turn-based battles, is environmental puzzles. That's like the other half of this game, is there's a lot of items in your way or items that you need to get to other places. And each character that you collect along the way has different abilities they can use in these environments to solve these puzzles. And you can switch between the characters just using the right stick. Now, I played on the Switch, and it felt pretty good on the Switch. It's a good Switch game, I would say. Being able to quickly switch between characters using the scroll wheel felt really good. It was quick. It felt nice. If I was in the middle of solving a puzzle and it finally clicked, I know I can quickly switch between another character and do what I need to do. And you kind of learn how to combine their elements together, how to combine their skills to open up new pathways in the environment, and combine together to do damage to enemies as you fight them. Now, as far as the open world goes with the enemies, you do see them. It's not like a random battle where like enemy just drops out in the air. You see the enemies there. For the most part, the enemies are gonna come at you. They're pretty aggressive, to be honest. Like when they see you, they come right for you. You don't really get too many opportunities to kind of walk around them to avoid the confrontation. At least that's what it felt like to me. And of course, you have the ability to kind of escape from battle if you want to. But for me, more often than not, I would fail at escaping the battle. And that made it a little bit more scary, but challenging in the moment. So it feels like even though this game's kind of like, oh, you could kind of go and tackle enemies you want to attack, it was like the opposite of, let's say, like a Xenoblade or something, where it's like all the enemies I saw were spread out on the map, but I knew that I would end up fighting all of them anyway, just because of how the nature of the game was kind of rolling along. And so that's what ends up happening, is like you're just seeing all the enemies that you're gonna eventually fight. You might be able to avoid one or two of them, but for the most part, they move quick. They're right on you. When it's time to go, it's time to fight, and you're in the zone. So they use portals to travel through time to these different places. Once you come across a portal, you can like go back and travel between zones. And then there's checkpoints within each zone as well. So if you come across something you couldn't get to earlier, you can go and travel back. As far as it being in the areas, like the mission areas, they're kind of spread out. They give you like 2 or 3 portals for the mission areas. And then there's a central hub that's the main portal. And this central hub is where the characters are living at. They're staying asleep, they're making new inventions, discovering new things in this house that they have. If you're into the farming sim of it all, there is a little bit there for you as well. You can get plants, carrots, wheat, you can grow these things. You can use those to help make meals that give you bonus stats. So you can have a meal that gets you faster experience or makes you skip from battles easier. And these are all things that you can eat and are timed. And after a certain period of time, that stat boost will go away. And then you can also like help buy and build new armor or equipment to wear, like shoes or hats. You can upgrade what you already have or purchase new items. And what is cool as well is that if you want to get to know more about the characters, you can have different dialogue discussions with them. And then there's 2 other elements to this little hub world. One being this tree. And as you play the game, you're collecting these like little spirit seeds, and you keep feeding them into the tree. And once you feed enough of these things into the tree, you get to lock a new area within this hub world. And so there's like little biomes that are sealed by these gates in the hub world, but eventually you get enough of these seeds in there, you can open one up. And then once you go in there, it gives you more room to garden, but also will help move the story along. So it's not necessarily something that you can do on the side, but you could spend extra time to do these extra little things if you want to. You don't have to, but a lot of the time to move the story along, you have to unlock the next biome, the next little hub area within the hub to do what you need to do. And as I'm playing through the game, there's like little music in the background that was kind of nice. I like the sound design of the game as well. Each character's weapons are so different. That's the thing, is all these characters, their, you know, personality and all that, they do fit some stereotypes we've seen in these kind of RPGs before, but they do all have a different sort of feel and vibe to them and the way they react to stuff. And as a person who likes playing these games for a story, the story is interesting enough to keep going. You know, I want to kind of see where this ends up at the end of the day. Will they stop poison? Will they not? So I definitely recommend checking this game out, y'all. I know there's so many RPGs coming out with these past couple weeks. I know it's a lot, but don't sleep on this game. I think it's a solid, fun little game. It's a good handheld game to play when you have the time in between the big RPG games, give this one a shot, y'all. It's really worth it.